It's Mr. Kiddos with
What the physics? Physics.
Remote Learning Edition. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Oh my gosh. Coronavirus. I'm going to show you what remote learning is going to look like for physics at least. And of course that might change as I get feedback from you guys. Of course you're going to tell me,
Hey, that doesn't work that well. I don't like it.
that's all right. So, you know what? I've got some tips for you. And of course, I'll walk you through our first lesson and objectives. All right, I've got 2 objectives for you today. Let's
Rock and roll.
take a look, shall we? I hope this document looks good for you. Where do you find it? Okay, well, it's going to be posted on Classroom. You're going to see I've made a topic for you called RL Week 1, Remote Learning Week 1. This weird number is just, it's year 2020, and it's the 3rd month, 18th day, and this is the first task. So that's kind of to organize things for you. I'm weird. So orientation task and exit ticket, those are the 2 things you need to have marked done. Every class should have something due at 7 p.m. as far as I know. So
Don't wait till the last minute.
oh, that was one of the tips. Okay, so that being said, you're going to find everything on Classroom. One of the first things I want you to do is open this document, and that document will have lesson objectives. It'll have your tasks and some reminder at the bottom and maybe some tips for you along the way. These 2 objectives, I've color-coded them so you can see which tasks go with which one, and hopefully that works out. Please leave a comment below if you would rather see something different, or you can go to Google Classroom and type a comment up for me so that I can help you transition better. So let me know if I'm doing cool stuff, bad stuff, whatever. Give me some feedback on the feed and we'll go from there, either on YouTube here on my channel or directly in Google Classroom. First things first, make sure you're on Remind with me. You could just get your phone out and say, I have a really quick question, and send, and I get it immediately, separately from our email. And I know some of you don't like the email, but that's just the way life is. So go ahead and do that. Anyway, there's my info for you. Okay, so the next thing is, once you've done that, you're going to go look at Pivot Interactives. Put your first name and last name, capital letters, etc., your sanmiguelhigh.org email address, and your password. Make it something, write it down somewhere. Please don't forget. Make it something simple and sign up. And once you do that, you'll come in and you will see a list of things, and there's only one right now, but you'll find the one that's marked Ping Pong Ball Cannon. So let me show you how that works. First off, you're going to see a couple sections, and you can expand those sections. Pretty cool. Some sections in Pivot won't show up until you finish the previous one. The cool thing about Pivot is it gives you tools that you can overlay on top of videos that are there. So I'm going to jump down to the second part and kind of show you those tools here. So you can see right here is where your tools bar comes out. You'll be needing the stopwatch, which is pretty cool. It tells you what time it is at that point and what the frame rate is. Pretty cool. And the other thing you'll be using is the ruler. And it tells you specifically how to set up. This runs like a regular player. This is pretty awesome. So what you want to do is go back, and you want to set up that ruler so it lines up a specific way. There it is. And I'm going to line this up as best I can, right, with that 0 mark there. And now I can kind of see where the ball is every moment in time, as long as I keep that ruler locked down. And if I move that ruler, I'm kind of messed up. So I'm using the right edge of the ball, so that means I need to use the right edge of the ball every time I measure it. Pretty cool. Now every frame, it'll tell you what time it is. Down here, you can enter that information. I can type in, oh, okay, it's the first one. You don't have to type in things in order. And I was like, oh, that looks like it's between 7 and 8, really close to that 8. So I'm going to say it's 7 point, and I'm taking a guess, 0.8. And it shows up in my graph down here. Pretty cool. And as I get more and more data points, now I only have 2 points, but I wanted to show you that I can do a linear regression here and kind of get an idea. I can also make sure that the 0 is there, and I start filling in more data. And then I answer the questions about it. One of the tools you're going to be using is the function button. So if I want to type in a formula, just type in exactly what you want to type in. I could type in something like this, and it hits save, and it looks like a textbook did it. It's pretty cool. You can check your answer for each multiple choice, and after each section is done, you can lock in your answers. Make sure you're taking notes on this section. That's a big deal. You want to be able to describe what you did in Pivot. You want to sketch the graph as best you can in your notes and write down your equation with a sentence with units. And then there'll be an exit ticket for you to answer back on Google Classroom, where it has you answer some questions about it. And that being said, you should have 2 things marked done on Google Classroom by the end of the day, and by doing the quiz, that should automatically mark that one done when you complete the quiz. So make sure that you've done the pivot activity first and then do the quiz. One of the cool tips for distance learning is really, number 1, make sure you take a deep breath. We do daily prayer. That's something you can do. You meditate, whatever it is that you need to do to calm yourself down. You have plenty of time, as long as you manage your time. One of the ways you can do that is by using Google Classroom and Google Calendar. So let's go ahead and take a look at that really quick. So let's say you know you're going to get 45 minutes of work for each class. So why don't you go to Google Calendar and schedule some time for yourself to do like physics. And maybe you say, I want to try that from 9:30 to 10:15. Say this is my physics time, and you can make that repeat. But now I have time to work on physics. Now the neat thing is that I've added some office hours that are available to you. When you click on the link, you'll get something like this. And what these are for is if you're struggling or you just want to say hi, click on here and hit save, and it will schedule a time for me to come and say hey to you on Google Hangouts. I'll send you a link and we can do video conferencing or audio conferencing. Pretty cool stuff. You'll notice that I have an AM slot and a PM slot, 10 minutes each. And we'll see how that works for now. Remember, office hours is not the time to do work, it's the time to get help on the work you've already attempted. So I put one in the morning for you guys, so in case you're having trouble understanding what I've posted at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I put one in the afternoon so that by the time you get there, you've started it, maybe you have a question about finishing it. So plenty of time for you to do that. Of course, you can always email me and do the text remind and get to me. So be aware that that's always possible. I'm going to try to keep myself available for answering emails and stuff pretty much all day, 9 to about 4 o'clock. But during my office hours is when I'm going to try to get back to you as instantly as I could. So very cool. All right. Well, thank you very much. This has been a learning experience, let me tell you, but not so much for me, but it's definitely going to be for you. So good luck, and I hope that you will have a good time watching me do this.